It's not. Welcome to the transparency. Guys, it's been a long Friday. Woo, woo. How we doing, folks? How we doing? I should have went tanning today. Just slipped my mind. Totally slipped my mind. We're going to talk about the Lindsay Partin case. We're going to show you guys some detective work and testimony. And yeah. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. I mean, I got my pickles ready. This is going to be a quick episode. I'm working on my own case. Cheers. One of my favorite Valentine's gifts I got was whatever this says. Kiss me everywhere, like you like pin it. That's what you want. Tickle me. Rub my feet. And then you just like pin it over there. Have your way with me. Sweep me off my feet. Kiss me passionately, like in 7-Eleven parking lot. So, anyways, how we doing, folks? How we doing? Look at that. Working on my own shit. Got my own shit going on. Hello. Yes. I love pickles. Again, Friday. Sorry I pushed this back. I've been doing my own case. And I've been having a life too. Hello, everybody looks. Live. What's up, Canadian mama? Okay. I saw that Miss Mensa dropped by, left me a comment about my Lindsay Partin coverage. I mean, nothing but kind words to say. She's said that she's been enjoying my coverage, and I just wanted to say thank you for the comment. Everybody's always welcome in chat, love. So, Anna, hi from England. You're great. Well, I will take that. Thank you. What's up, Donna? Kathy. Ellen. Oh, there's that super sticker. All the way from England. What time is it there? All right. Well, we've reached. We got one more minute. I like to wait to the 5-minute mark. So if you guys are watching on replay, just fast forward 5 minutes. Just make sure that everybody gets their notifications. All right. Oh, Lindsay Partin, innocent or guilty? Again, no doubt in my mind. I don't think anybody committed murder here, but definitely Lindsay didn't commit murder. Oh, look at who joined us. I am here again. I left the window open. Love it that we can disagree and so discuss. Oh, absolutely. Who knows? Maybe I can get you to change your mind. You never know. But yeah, I think when people can act like adults, it's an amazing thing. So, welcome. Okay. It is after 2 in the morning. That's what I thought. Thought it was pretty late. Well, when I can't sleep, there you go. My voice should just put you to sleep. Be great. Miss Spencer, you would have enjoyed my coverage of Melissa Jade and what she brings to YouTube. So check out that video last night. Sarah, what's up, Sarah King? Good evening. All right, we're at the 5-minute mark. Red Viper 2.0. It's my favorite channel too. Oh, I stopped listening. You said, at least you gotta get to the good stuff. Doing lives about birds, doing lives about farts. You know, just priceless. Oh boy. All right, here we go. Oh, there he is. Sorry. I just didn't want to click that one.
Be seated, please. We're back on the record. State of Ohio versus Lindsay Partin. Lynn Jones, jury, any issues with the admonitions that I need to know about? Very good. Ms. Howard, are you ready to proceed then to cross?
I am, Your Honor.
You may whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
While we've sat next to each other for a week, we have not been.
You are to consider that information more. All right? With that, Ms. Howard, if you would re-ask the question, we'll get the answer.
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Turner, is it fair to say that when you were designated as the lead investigator sometime?
Hold on one second. Ooh.
Jury is present or will not.
Never met her. I think she's just a family friend.
Yeah. So I didn't actually see the train. I haven't seen the train. How tall is the train? Now you're saying it's the left side.
Yeah, I was thinking because she never been a kid.
I don't understand. I mean, you know, it's an accident. You called for help.
This is my fault. I should have protected her.
It's not
Should have let her fall. I should have been holding her.
It's not your fault. But here's the thing. You've gone through every single one of these injuries, and you had no problems telling us about these. Okay?
I felt like it was
And even the injury that
wrong. I don't know. I didn't think she was hurt like this.
when she fell off the train.
Yeah, but I didn't think that she was like.
She wasn't thrown up.
No.
She wasn't
Her pupils were like,
stumbling.
she ate 2 bowls of Skyline.
She didn't throw any of
Not
it.
any of it.
And then you didn't hear her dad never said anything about
Not one word. And he walked in while she was eating
2 bowls of
Skyline. Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, heavy food.
She left Wednesday.
I honestly don't know about that, but
When she left the house, your house Wednesday, was her eyes starting to black at all?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When did you first notice?
Just right here. And then, I noticed that she had like a little hickey looking thing on her eye.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when she came in there, I was like, oh, it's starting to get black.
And you told Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Wednesday.
I usually call him during the day. Some, like, I've had one before, like,
So Thursday,
long time ago.
when you saw her, it was a dramatic, worsening of the injury, right?
What day?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday morning, because this would have been the day after she.
Honestly, when she walked in Thursday morning, and when he put her down, I like looked at her face, I thought she looked better.
Oh, okay.
And I said, 'cause after I put the ice on, I Googled bruising, how to make it feel better or get better, and it said put vapor rub, will cool it down, and salt will help break up the red blood cells.
And when did you Google that? Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday after it happened.
Okay.
What were you on when you put that?
My
Computer
Google
or
app,
phone?
my phone, my
Your
Google
phone.
app, yeah. So it said Vicks vapor rub and salt, and so I put that on there, so when you walk in, I was like, sorry, she smells like Vicks vapor rub. And so when she came Thursday, I was like, oh, it seems like it worked a little bit. I thought she looked better.
Okay. So where was the bruising again on Wednesday that you noticed before you sent her home?
Under the eye and on the cheekbone.
And her
And in her eye, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so none of this up here or over here was quite there.
Not yet, no.
All right.
No. There may be in the line there already, but I wouldn't have been able, her eyes were open, you know, I don't know that I noticed that. But I definitely saw that and definitely saw the inside of the eye.
So when none of, you were saying the right side, none of this was on her right side from the train, you're saying?
No, that's from the gravel. She literally bit it.
Okay.
Full force running.
Did she run fast or?
She tried. Vivian was the leader in that. She
Okay.
took off running and Hannah followed her.
You said when she totally bit it, her head was going down towards the ground?
Yeah, she smacked her chin.
Her chin right here?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the problem, there's no mark directly on the point of her chin. We're looking
There's
at marks.
very little to no bruising right in the middle. It's on the left
Yeah.
Yeah.
and on the right.
Like I said, I was far away too. I was right behind them,
And
so.
then up underneath.
Underneath. Yeah.
So when people fall, you're gonna have bruising on the sharp points, okay? So it's gonna be this point, none here, and then some here.
Hold on. Okay. You have to understand, okay, so she thinks she's helping. Like, I'm helping these detectives. I'm not being interrogated or I'm not being questioned, or I'm not here because we think or they think that I'm guilty of something. Okay. I'm here to help. I'm here to, what the heck happened? See this body language right here.
Once again, you don't have to be a doctor, you've got to be
Yeah.
like that, okay? You see that bruise?
Mm-hmm.
What's that kind of look like?
Is it older?
Older, yeah. Older, there's some yellowing all through here, and then, see this here?
Mm-hmm.
That looks, what would you say?
Older.
To me, that looks brand new.
Oh, okay.
That is newer than even.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
So what it kind of looks like is that these are all from a different time.
Yeah, and like I said, she is well. I don't think that she's been. I really don't think that she's been hurt.
You know?
No, I honestly don't. In my gut intuition, I don't think that he's a bad guy. I really don't. I think that he is a simple guy.
Here's one thing this is from a senior neurologist. Okay?
Yeah.
He's telling us that the brain injury that she sustained was absolutely not 24 hours prior or even an hour prior. The injury that caused this, or the incident that caused this brain injury
Yeah,
was immediate.
that is. I have no idea.
So she wouldn't have, if Dad would have, I don't know, knocked her out Thursday morning before she dropped you off, let me ask you this, was she crying or anything like that?
No, but she she didn't want to kind of like let him go. She was, I don't know.
She didn't want to let him go?
Yeah, it was a little,
Okay.
yeah, she kept wanting to hug on him.
Yeah, but she wanted donuts.
But she, yeah, well, we got inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever happened, if Dad would have, I don't know, knocked her out Thursday morning before she dropped you off, let me ask you this, was she crying or anything like that?
No, but she didn't want to kind of like let him go. She was, I don't know.
She didn't want to let him go?
Yeah, it was a little,
Okay.
yeah, she kept wanting to hug on him.
Yeah, but she wanted donuts.
But she, yeah, well, we got inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever happened, did not happen prior to her getting to your house.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
It wasn't Thursday and it wasn't Wednesday for sure.
I don't.
That's
Well, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, we've got these world-renowned neurologists saying, no, this didn't happen Thursday. It surely didn't happen Wednesday. This happened immediately. This injury happened, and she went down.
She literally walked in.
And that's what these people do, obviously.
Yeah, no,
That's what-
yeah, no,
I told you, we're what we know from yesterday, everything we know, we're telling the doctor, this is what we're being told. Doctor says, nah. It was a hit.
They see thousands of these.
He says, doctor says it was a hit, and she went down.
I would never hit a kid. I've seen them.
Okay.
I don't even spank my own.
Someone in that house, I'm going to be completely honest with you, someone in that house, after Dad dropped her off, injured this kid to the point where she's unconscious. Or a dramatic fall, or something, or some sort of accident.
No, I mean, I believe you, but
An
nothing happened
accidental
Thursday
drop,
morning. Yeah,
something absolutely happened
Yeah.
while, when she walked in the door to the time she fell. That's the time frame that there's no doubt. It's not a question of, well, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. There's no doubt. It absolutely happened during this time. And the only person that was there, a couple of kids.
It absolutely happened
That's what we're running into.
during this
So,
time.
You know, we can
You
understand
don't
that.
know that.
God, I cannot imagine. I've got kids similar ages to all these kids.
Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine if I would have accidentally done something to cause this.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
I mean,
it's human nature. It's
Yeah,
human
no, if I
nature
hurt
to
anybody, I would never-
listen now.
Yeah.
It's completely human nature to, you know, this is a big deal, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's human nature to be like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But you do. is
I
what I'm
really
saying.
don't.
Whether it was an accident or not,
Yeah.
something happened under your care in about a 5-minute span. We've absolutely got it narrowed down to that. And by you saying, that's kind of not cutting it because,
I know, but I don't know what else to say.
And I think, I mean, you called for help,
Yeah, of course.
so it's not like you were trying to hide anything.
No, I don't know.
Something happened. Something happened, okay? Something happened that we're not getting told.
well, see, yeah, we're not, it's not if something happened. Something happened. So we're beyond nothing happened. We're beyond that. Something happened. And the only person who knows what happened is you. Unfortunately, you know,
I don't
She can't tell us right now,
know.
no, she can't.
so that's what we.
So we're beyond, no, listen, we're beyond that.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're
There's no
saying.
point talking about Wednesday, okay? Because Wednesday absolutely did not happen. Anything Wednesday. This happened in about a 5-minute span,
Yeah.
okay?
Right there. Hold on. She is saying when they're saying you're the only person that knows what happened, she's saying no. Hannah knows. She's not the only person. Hannah knows. Listen to this. Oh, shit.
shit is going on with this thing?
She can't tell us right now.
No, she can't.
So that's, see,
So we're beyond, no, listen, we're beyond that.
yeah.
No, I understand what you're
There's no
saying.
point talking,
I understand what you're
there's no
saying.
point talking.
Okay. Something happened that we're not getting told.
Well, see, yeah, we're not, it's not if something happened, something happened. So we're beyond nothing happened. We're beyond that. Something happened. And the only person who knows what happened is you. Unfortunately, she
She can't tell us right now.
Right there, she says, and Hannah. She says, and Hannah.
So we're beyond, no, listen.
And Hannah. Now, Lindsay's cousin told me, which I have no reason not to believe her, that Lindsay was saying things like, like when Hannah wakes up, she'll be able to tell them that I didn't do anything to her. Like when she wakes up, she'll be able to say that, once Hannah, wakes up, there's two people that know. They're like, they're saying that her, but she's saying, no, Hannah knows, basically. She's like, oh, and Hannah. Her cousin was like, well, Lindsay kept saying, when Hannah wakes up, that she'll be able to tell them that I didn't do anything, Just remember, this person has never been in trouble. Nothing. And I'm getting a headache just from listening to this fucking piece of shit right now. They're both yelling and coming at her. It isn't if it's something happened in that home. Well, okay, well, I didn't do anything, Now let's see, because right here, this is kind of where I believe everything changes. And let's pay attention to the words that this detective uses, both of them here in this tag team. I got a tag team her. If she's so guilty, just get her. I think you need to do all this, but
I understand what you're
There's
saying.
no point talking about Wednesday, okay? Because Wednesday absolutely did not happen.
Collapse. She didn't just collapse.
Traumatic brain injury.
That's what it says.
Traumatic. Something.
I did not do anything to her.
We're not saying you did.
No, I know. No, honestly, she did.
But we're just saying you know, okay?
I mean, you would have seen her, you saw her collapse. It was immediate that she collapsed after this.
You said you never lost eye contact with her. With the time she walked in, you followed her in.
She can't tell us right now.
No, she can't.
So that's, see,
So we're beyond, no, listen, we're beyond that.
yeah.
No, I understand what you're
There's no
saying.
point talking about Wednesday, okay? Because Wednesday absolutely did not happen. Anything Wednesday. This happened in about a 5-minute span, okay? And it happened when she was in your custody, okay?
He said it's happened in a 5-minute span. What?
She's done something. She's fallen. She's been dropped. Something.
I did not do anything to her.
But we're not saying you did.
No, I know. No, honestly, she did.
But we're just saying you know, okay?
I mean, you would have seen her, you saw her collapse. It was immediate that she collapsed after this.
You said you never lost eye contact with her. With the time she walked in, you followed her in, and she collapsed. That's not possible. That's not possible. I believe she walked in.
Yeah, she did.
I did.
Yeah.
I believe all that. But as soon as you guys went into the house, something happened. There's no doubt, listen to me, listen to me. There's no doubt that something happened. Something absolutely happened, okay? We're not going back to Wednesday. We're not going back to the morning that Dad had her. We're beyond even that. It's narrowed down by brain surgeons that it happened right before she hit the ground. That's when it happened. And you just told us, and you told us several times, that you were looking at her. It's not like she walked around the corner and you came around and was like, what the hell happened?
No,
You had eye contact with her the whole time.
Yes, sir.
But something caused her to collapse. She didn't just collapse.
Traumatic brain injury.
It says,
Traumatic.
okay? You called for help,
Yes.
okay? So,
As soon as she
There's no doubt in our minds that this was an accident.
yeah.
This is a horrible, horrible accident.
Thursday morning.
This is a horrible accident.
I asked
And you
him
have to
if
tell us,
something happened
listen to me,
45 minutes.
listen, and you have to tell us
Yeah.
exactly what that accident was. Because she's still being treated, okay? Now, your treatment can go either way, whether she's hit the back of the head with a baseball bat, which I absolutely don't believe she was, or whether she was dropped, or whatever she hit her head on, or got some sort of whiplash somehow.
it was instant.
It was
I
absolutely
believe
instant.
you.
Okay? So, and if you believe that it's instant, you're agreeing that, okay, she fell because she got hit. Or something happened. Something caused this, okay, in her head. She fell because of that. All right? What caused that?
What accident caused this?
She fell on the door and hit the concrete step.
When?
Thursday morning.
Walking into the house?
Yes.
Tell us about it. Take us through it.
Details.
So when I opened up the door, she was coming through and she slipped on that concrete step and the metal part, she hit the metal part on her eye.
Which door?
Which, the
Back door
one,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
house.
going into the house, the carpet. And so I got her back up and she stood up and looked up at me and did say, I want donut and couch, and then collapsed.
Appreciate you being honest there. I mean, it's an accident.
You called for help.
This is my fault. I
Well,
should have
no,
protected
it's
her.
not- it's not
Should
your
have let her
fault.
fall. I should have been holding her.
It's not your fault, but here's the thing. You've gone through every single one of these injuries, and you have no problems telling us about these.
I felt like it was my
And even the
fault.
injury, even the injury that you were thinking, put her in the situation she was in, you told us about that, no problem. What's the difference? What's the difference in this injury
Because I,
and the one, you were there for both of
I know,
them?
'cause
If you thought this one put her in the hospital,
I didn't,
why
I
were you
thought
hiding the
Wednesday.
fact
I
that-
didn't, I thought Wednesday did, because she
Yeah,
smacked
you
her.
own this
Still,
one.
you're under
You
your-
own this one. You said this one happened
You
when you
own
were
this.
watching her, okay? You
Why
called for
hide
help. Why lie about this one, about her falling?
Because I thought it was, because I thought it was my fault, and I thought she was having a seizure, and I didn't want Jason to be mad at me, that she slipped and fell, and I wasn't holding her, and I was trying to grab her blanket from her,
Here's the thing.
and I thought it was my fault that she
Here's
was
the
having a
thing.
seizure. I thought she was having a seizure. I was scooping at her mouth.
Okay.
So there was a horrible accident. There was an accident. This was an accident. This was your fault. This was an accident. Tell us this accident. Tell us this accident. This is where an expert witness that does false confessions would come in and explain, well, in order for Lindsay's statements, confession, whatever they're going to call this, everything that you're saying has to be true. If there's a part of it that is not true, then the whole thing is null and void. So for example, with the Chris Watts case, what he said in the interrogation room, was that true or was that not true? Was it false confession? Because then what he says in Wisconsin is not what he said in Colorado. So one of those is false. Shit, maybe both of them are false. Who knows? They kept using the word accident. This is an 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 accident. Where does accident, okay, go from an accident to this is murder? The little time that I got to spend with Jane and David and listening to them about, that's what they're experts in, is false confessions. And people being coerced into saying things. And if you can't sit here and tell me that we're going to continue on, that this isn't someone that's just, okay, maybe she's crying and maybe she's acting like this because now she's lying. Now she's lying. But her husband his family has a huge successful business. They're not idiots. Why wouldn't they be telling Lindsay to lawyer up? Like, oh, that's right, because nobody in her family is being told this is being looked at as abuse. She's being told by Jason that this is nothing about abuse. So okay, I'll just tell him that she fell, hit her head, it was an accident. I know this is an accident. Okay, everything that I gave them, this isn't what caused it. What caused it? Okay, so now she just throws this up here. So we're going to continue on. Her demeanor has changed, though. She starts crying. Okay. And what the heck? Dude, this thing is the most jacked up thing I've seen today.
That's not what happened. We're beyond that. We're beyond that.
I don't know what else to
Listen,
say.
you tell us that she,
I'm being completely
that's,
honest.
that's not what happened.
And when I went to take her blanket, it slid.
Why
I
are you
thought
hiding the
Wednesday.
fact
I
that-
didn't, I thought Wednesday did, because she
Yeah,
snapped
you
her
went
leg.
over this still, you own this one. You said this one happened when you were watching her.
And she stood up and looked up at me and did say, I want donut and couch, and then collapsed.
We appreciate you being honest, man. I mean, you know, it's an accident.
You called for help.
This is my fault. I
Well,
should have
no,
protected her.
it's not
I should have
your
let her
fault.
fall. I should have been holding her.
It's not your fault, but here's the thing. You've gone through every single one of these injuries and you had no problems telling us about these.
I
Okay?
felt like it was my
And even the
fault.
injury, even the injury that you were thinking, put her in the situation
detective
she
got
was
it
in.
wrong.
You told us about that, no problem. What's the difference? What's the difference in this injury
Because I,
and the one, you were there for both of
I know,
them?
because
If you
I-
thought this one put her in the hospital,
I didn't,
why
I
were
thought
you hiding the
Wednesday.
fact
I
that?
didn't, I thought Wednesday did, because she
Yeah,
snapped
you
her
went over
leg.
this still, you own this one. You said this one happened when you were watching her, okay?
no, actually, she said she
Why
doesn't
lie
know
about-
what put her in the
Why
hospital.
lie about this one, about her falling?
Because I thought it was, because I thought it was my fault, and I thought she was having a seizure, and I didn't want Jason to be mad at me, that she slipped and fell, and I wasn't holding her, and I was trying to grab her blanket from her,
Here's the thing.
and I thought it was my fault that she
Here's
was
the
having a
thing.
seizure. I thought she was having a seizure. I was scooping in her mouth.
Okay. So go through that again. Go through that
I
exactly.
opened up the door, and like, can I go in, I'll take your jacket, or blanket, and when I went to take her blanket, it slipped on the blanket, got underneath her foot, and on that one step, and she hit that metal part. Right.
So on the threshold at the bottom of the door?
Yeah, the metal part that goes
Okay. And
across
she hit what side?
the left side.
Okay.
Right.
She's what, this tall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what did this.
So listen, she's this tall, right?
No. Oh,
This tall.
no.
She's this tall.
Yeah.
And the steps are,
She
it's a step
slipped
of the
back,
house.
she really did hit the metal part.
So is there a step and then you step into the house?
Yes,
So
She
okay.
hit the top part, the upper part.
yes.
So now they
So
know
then she gets up.
now they know
Is the stuff about, do you want to go back to bed or what? Is all that true?
Yeah, she got back up and
She
looked
got
at me
up.
and said, "Dinner, and I got
Asked
buddy,
her
eat
to
lunch."
lunch.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
collapsed. And they collapsed. Okay.
and I thought she was having a seizure. I didn't think that
But-
was
but-
her,
but
I thought it was a Wednesday
listen,
murder.
listen to me. That's not what happened.
It is, I promise.
No, that's not what happened.
It is.
The doctor said when this injury occurred, she was out. Instant.
She wasn't.
This
She was
is
back up. I
Nope,
had
that's
seen-
not what happened.
That's not what
She
happened.
wouldn't believe what tall.
That's not what happened. There was a more severe accident that happened that just like this accident, you're afraid to tell us for some reason. Okay?
I'm not afraid to tell you anything.
Well, you were afraid to tell us that.
Well, 'cause
We
I
got
thought-
through that. We got, all right.
Lost our seizure.
That's not what
We got through
happened.
that. And we're gonna get through this,
Get through this.
okay?
Okay.
Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
So tell us,
that's exactly, I swear.
that's not what happened.
It is, she
No.
slipped and fell.
No.
Okay, I did not, I
She didn't fall 12 inches and traumatically bruise her.
She
To
falls.
the point where they have to cut a piece of her skull off to relieve pressure. That's not what happened. Especially on the bones right here are extremely weak. In order to do that much damage, they're weak for a reason. No, all of them. They're weak for a reason.
Oh.
They break because they're like crumple zones in a car. That's why they break. No broken bones here, okay?
Yeah.
That absolutely did not do that. Even the surgeon said that, okay? So that's not what happened. So tell us what really happened.
That's really what
No,
happened.
that's not what happened. We're beyond that. We're beyond that.
I don't know what else to
Listen, you
say.
tell us that she's on top of a toy,
Mm-hmm,
okay, and she falls face first.
Yeah.
The day before.
yeah,
Gets up and goes on about her
she
business.
did.
That never happened.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So the next day, she falls into a step that's probably this.
Thank you.
When I,
There for the accident,
yeah, that was the
okay? Because that's
accident.
exactly what happened, and that was not the accident. That's
About her
She
business.
did.
That never happened.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So the next day, she falls into a step that's probably this tall off the ground. She's this tall. About her
She
business.
did.
That never happened.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So the next day, she falls into a step that's probably this tall off the ground. She's this tall. That's what, a foot
Head
first,
first.
head first?
Yeah, she slipped on it.
Okay?
You have kids.
Yeah,
We've had kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
You really think that her falling 12 inches, hitting her eye is going to make her brain swell?
No, that's what I don't understand.
Right, because that's not what
Something more traumatic.
something more.
I believe you, but I did not hurt her.
We're not saying you hurt her. We're saying you were there for the accident.
Yeah, that was the
Okay? Because
accident.
that's exactly what happened, and that was not the accident. That's not what did this. You know that without a doubt. Okay? It didn't have, she has no broken bones in her face. Okay?
I mean, this is a common thing to get broken when somebody's
Right.
falls, okay? That's not broken.
Breaks easily to protect your brain.
Yeah,
Okay?
I thought it. I
And there's no broken bones in her face, so that's not what happened. Okay? You know, we've come a long way. We got past that. Okay?
Yeah.
You're right there. You're right there. Thank you.
When I I opened the door, I dropped her. And I slipped and fell.
What happened?
So I slipped on her blanket when I opened the door, and we both went down, and she hit that concrete step really hard.
Where at? On her head?
On her face, yeah. I was holding her on the left side. When I slipped, it hit her side. I actually hit my head on the door coming down, but she smacked her face, her head really hard on the concrete step.
Okay, and then what happened?
We got up. I tried to get her to come to. She did ask me for a donut and couch out in the garage, not inside, but she did.
So now she just makes it so that she fell higher up because they're saying that, hey, this is not what made it. Okay. So now, okay, no, I was holding her. So then when she did fall, it was a bigger drop. She is just telling them what they want her to say. It was not enough of a fall. It was only, 12 inches or 14, whatever the hell he was talking about. And it's like, okay, well, I was holding her and we fell. So therefore, she was up higher and fell. But now this is the truth, guys. I mean, do you understand how this is just completely like, where is Lindsay Partin's false confessions expert? I mean, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was holding her and then we fell. Because remember, this is what made this much of a drop. So, okay, well, if I was holding her and we fell, then it's a higher drop. You know what's crazy to me is that it's not like this guy, this detective, has like the history of anything right now to know, oh, Jason's behind in paying, or he is behind in his the rent, the amount of money for the car each month that he was paying, $300 a week, $1,200 a month, $1,500 if it was a 5-weeker. Oh, because no, then they get her to say things like that she struck the child and stuff like that. So this is what you guys, when I used to own my bar, hottest girls work there. But when you have hot girls, comes with a price. They're usually not that bright. And if any one of my girls back when I owned my bar was to be interrogated like this, I mean, this is what I would say. Oh my God, your drawer's short $50. You took $50 from the drawer. No, but here's $50. No, you had, I don't want your money. I know that you took it. Well, if I took it, then it was by accident. I must have miscounted, but here's $50. Nope. You were stealing it from me. Like, no, here, I'll give you $50 and I'll give you extra money. Like, these are just. What's up? Um, okay. So you want me to forget that she fell on Tuesday. Lindsay told her dad. She fell on Wednesday. Lindsay told her dad. Both of them knew about the bruises, except, Lindsay saying, like, no, that doesn't look like it. This doesn't look like it. This doesn't look like it. That she's seen it before, or they're asking Lindsay, does this bruise look like it's new or older? She doesn't even know what it is. Like, what a darker bruise would look like, what an older bruise would look like. She just doesn't know. So, you want me to forget the fact that that's actual facts? Like, Jason said it, she said it, but now, none of that matters. None of that matters because that didn't cause her death. What matters is, right when you got her in your care. Well, that's funny. I'm just curious. Does it matter that she was born addicted to heroin? Does that matter, you think, with a brain injury? Um, for this detective to sit here and say what's relevant and what's not, he's not a doctor. He doesn't know shit. He's just talking out of his ass. Because they're gonna get this woman. If it's an accident, then what is all this stuff? What is all this stuff? And Lindsay could even pick up on the fact that no, the doctors are saying no, that this is, this is traumatic brain injury. Okay. So you can't have traumatic brain injury from an accident? I'm just curious because yes, you can. People get in car accidents all the time. That's an accident. Causes brain injury. But like Lindsay, like you're watching this, like she has no idea what's going on. Like, but she's hearing accident. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But we just need to know everything. Okay, well, I'm just gonna tell you this then. No, I was holding her and she fell because I had to get her higher off the ground because you said that it wasn't a big enough fall. So then I just say I was holding her. This is like classic to me 101 on telling somebody what they want to hear. Like when your parents caught you like, I don't know. Well, I know that you did this. And then you're like, okay, let me just say that I did that because I really did a whole bunch more shit, but I'll just admit to that. But then imagine your parents saying this to you. I know that you skipped school. I know that you skipped school and went to Burger King. I think, no, I skipped school, went to Burger King, fucked my boyfriend in the back of his car, then smoked a hell bunch of weed. Then we rolled some acid, and then I walked back into my class. Yeah, Mom, I skipped school, went to Burger King. You're gonna be like, I'll take that, right? But then imagine your mom saying, nope, that's not what you did. Now tell me what you really did. No. Oh, I skipped. Oh, my boyfriend was with me when I skipped. No, that's not what you did. Tell me what else. Tell me what you did. That. Then I would say, well, wait a second. How do you know what I did? If you already know what I did, tell me what I did. I'll give the detective props for one thing right here. He says, you had no problem telling us about those other accidents that she had. Why didn't you just tell us about this accident about falling? Because it never fucking happened. That's why. That's why. Okay. She told you all this stuff. Why wouldn't she just tell you about that? It's because it never fucking happened. She never fell holding the child into the wall, into the fucking door. That never happened. That's why she didn't tell it to you. Everything has been literally point on until this point here. And now she's adding on to this because they're telling her this is not what happened. This is not what happened. This is not what happened. So then she says, okay, Hannah fell on the steps. And I'd say, nope. This is how big your steps are. This is how. Oh, I was holding her and we fell. Like she has no idea what to say, but she's trying to say something so that because they're telling me this is an accident, so it's an accident. But my question is why are they being like this? Why are they being like this? Is this how they interrogated Jason? Again, her family has a ton of money, or their family has a ton of money. What? Like, I mean, Lindsay doesn't know. Oh, yeah, like, you know what? Are you guys accusing me of anything? No, they're not, because they keep saying, no, we're not saying that you did anything. We're not saying that you did anything. Okay, good, because, so if a cop tells you, no, we're not saying that you did anything, we just know that you know what happened. Oh, okay. Whew. Now, you say that to me, and I'm going to know what that means. You say that to somebody that believes that, you know, roses are red, violets are blue, and life's just fucking hunky-dory. Okay, yeah. But they're telling her, no, this is an accident, this is an accident. And no, we're not saying that you, like, that you did anything. But you know what happened. She's never been in trouble in her life. Again, this is just the next day. This is the next day, and Hannah is in the hospital. Hannah doesn't die, remember, like 10 days goes by. Why don't you guys go get some information? Why don't you guys do your fucking jobs? Why do you need to grill her like this right now? Well, because she might not talk to you in a couple days, so you got to get her now. I don't know. Why don't you investigate? Investigate. This is not investigating, guys. So we know, just so we're clear about this. This is investigating. It's exactly what it looks like it is. I could get my son to say so many things if I was to tell him that I'm going to take him to Big Fun and we're going to get some figurines. How do you think this interview would have went if they would have said, we think you were trying to kill Hannah? What do you think would have happened then? I'm just curious. Why don't they just say that to her? Why don't they just say, oh, because we would have never got her to confess. Confess? We never got her to confess. Why'd you need to get her to confess? What is she to confess for? Do your job. Oh, if he would have told her the truth, she would have never confessed. Interesting. Let's see this part right here. Come on.
I was checking her message. Are you okay? Yeah. I did say that. You know, you're okay with everything. She didn't respond.
We're still in the garage, kind of in the
Kind
doorway.
of in the doorway. Yeah. Right where I said I was. Just didn't want her to be hurt. I thought she was having a seizure. I didn't think she was really hurt.
Her brain was going through some trauma. So, the brain fights to keep going with.
And you got it and trying to carry her around with this blanket. I didn't have any clothes on in my room and everything. Daddy was like waiting for us. I didn't know in a hurry.
So why would you hide that?
I didn't want to be in trouble. I don't know. Because I have babies at that moment. Don't want my husband to get sued. I don't. Now I just won't get babysit kids anymore. Or want to be yelled at by him. Or, I don't know.
One second.
Yeah.
Where's my alternative? Can you order some Chinese food? Just a steak. Want some steak? See if Olive Garden DoorDash is late. What time is it? Gotta get my brain on. Oh. Sorry, hold on one second. I had to plug my phone in. That's why it was acting up. Damn, this sucks up my battery. Y'all, I mean, I just. Okay, so now is that going to be a good enough like statement or no? Do they need more? Let's see. Share screen.
So Tuesday when she fell on the rocks, you didn't notice any bruising prior, right?
No.
So what about Wednesday?
Wednesday morning is when I noticed.
Noticed what?
The bruises on her chin and on her chest.
Do you know what touch DNA is?
I did the vapor rub and the salt, and I even did my essential oils.
You said that he had just put this new
He did.
gravel on
He just
your
finished
driveway.
the barn,
Okay.
and yep.
So it
Well,
didn't the same.
they do the gravel a lot
Okay.
because of the
But,
truck.
I mean, this, you said that these are different stages of healing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tell us about this.
I think you know about these two.
I don't know about
I
this.
think you do.
I don't. I honestly don't.
I'm positive you do.
Why would you think I know about them?
Because you just lied to us. How many times?
Well, you are. We can't how many times to tell us what happened with the fall. Okay?
Can you see how that notebook is?
Yeah.
And we understand. You call for help. Okay? We're not getting mad at you or anything. We just want to know what happened. We want to know everything that happened. We want to know how that happened. We want to know how that happened. We want to know how the fingers, these things happen.
We're getting calls from all these doctors
Yeah.
saying No,
Yeah. That's what it
that's
was.
not, that's not what's going
This
on.
morning, the doctors called and said, tell us what happened, what you're being told.
Yeah.
The doctor said, no.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I really don't.
And here's another thing, okay? Dad obviously, every time she comes home with a new scrape or bruise,
Mhm.
Dad asks her, what happened?
Yeah,
I know you told him,
yeah,
but he's doing what any other dad would
of
say.
course.
So what is she telling Dad whenever he says, what happened here, what happened there, what happened here? What's the one word or one thing she would say?
I don't know.
Babysitter.
And even the lady, who else watches her?
Sandy? Yeah. What?
She asked,
And she asked,
where are you getting all
Where
this
do you
stuff
get
from?
these?
Babysitter. So now we've got,
At the babysitter.
So look.
I wouldn't.
Right.
I don't, I mean, I don't even.
Let me ask you this. Earlier today, I heard, did you go to college?
Yeah,
Okay, what did you go to college for?
teaching.
Teaching. Did you get to teach?
No, my dad owns a trucking company, so I stayed on as his
Okay.
secretary.
Okay, and like I
But
said,
I did teach preschool and daycare, like,
and I saw a slice of your life this morning at 9 a.m.,
yeah.
kids screaming,
Mhm.
it's loud,
Hey,
things get
Very
hectic.
loud.
Okay. Are you ever mad at the way that turned out?
No, I love things.
I'm not saying you don't love your kids,
No, yeah, no,
but do you
no.
ever wish, you went to college to teach.
Yeah, no, I don't, I want to be home with my kids. That's why I wanted to be with TJ, because
Okay.
he wanted a mom to stay home with kids, yeah.
Have you ever lost it? Did you ever get mad?
No. I mean,
That's
I yell
what I'm
at TJ a lot.
I did this morning.
Yeah. When you
I don't mean it like,
you
I
get
don't
mad,
care. Yeah,
you
oh
get
yeah.
mad, and you scream and you yell and you stomp around. You might
Okay, so the point of this is that they've already zeroed in on Lindsay. They've already zeroed in on her. So they zeroed in on Lindsay, the next day. They didn't talk to the doctors though. That was a lie. So they didn't talk to the doctors. So they're like, just saying whatever they want to her. Okay. Now, again, this is being shown in the courtroom. So all the jurors are seeing this. Now, let's see how this gentleman handles himself on the stand when he is being cross-examined. Because obviously everything, the direct examination for him, it's everything that he's already just talking about in there. Like it's not that long. But the cross is going to be important because, okay, let's hear what her attorneys do and say and all that good stuff. Thanks, Patty. What's up, girl? Thanks, love. Is there any of those things open? What about like Jimmy John's? Can you Google Jimmy John's?
They are closed.
What?
Jimmy John's is closed. Or it's one on North Cash Street, 7.5 miles. They close
No.
too.
Let me see. Jimmy John's is not closed over here. Let me see my DoorDash.
World City closed. Georgia Road closed. Don't ask me to look at that now.
It sounds good. Thanks. Let's see. Looks like I'm just gonna maybe I'll just boil some water. Make myself some Italian meatball and homemade sauce. I got that. Was that mic drop? All right, so I'm gonna get out of this, but I'm gonna go back to this lunatic. Put his ass back on the stand. Here he is.
Are you a parent with one or more children? Or are you expecting to have a child anytime soon?
Situation in terms of the reports and how things were relayed and information conveyed and so forth, and as all that you are to consider that information report. You said V?
It's V as in Ventry. Okay. And you're aware that Detective Ventry obtained a search warrant on March 12th, 2018 to extract Lindsay Partin's phone, correct?
Yes.
And I'm assuming that as lead detective, you're fully aware of what's contained within that affidavit for search warrant, are you not?
I'm not fully aware. That's something that he would do primarily. He's our phone dump guy, so he's way more versed on that. I'm a lot like you. I'm not very handy when it comes to tech stuff.
Sorry, hold on. If I want to...
And I'm assuming that as lead detective, you're fully aware of what's contained within that affidavit for search warrant, are you not?
I'm not fully aware. That's something that he would do primarily. He's our phone dump guy, so he's way more versed on that. I'm a lot like you. I'm not very handy when it comes to tech stuff.
Then we have something in common. In terms of that particular search warrant, you've had an opportunity to review it, have you not?
I have.
And you see what he indicates Dr. Stevenson advised him, correct?
You would have to refresh my memory.
Certainly. I'm going to hand the detective what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit V as in Ventry.
So you said V?
It's V as in Ventry. Thank you. Handing you Defendant's Exhibit V as in Ventry.
Okay.
Do you recognize on the front page the section at the very bottom, to wit?
Yes.
And the paragraph immediately preceding that indicates that the affiant on that particular search warrant is Detective Joe Ventry, badge number 1179 of the Butler County Sheriff's Office.
Correct.
And he indicates he's been a police officer for 20 years.
Objection. Approach.
Okay.
Okay. Back up my helmet. Objection.
Thank you.
Fuck it.
Looking at Exhibit V again,
Yes.
do you agree that Detective Ventry was a police officer for 20 years? Do you have knowledge of that?
That's about right. Yeah, sounds right.
And he's assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division?
He is.
Okay. And you're aware of what he wrote in the to wit section?
Yes.
And to wit is the statement of facts a police officer would be presenting to a judge in order to obtain a search warrant. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you're aware that this particular detective advised the judge that he was seeing on that day about a particular statement
Yes.
from Dr. Stevenson?
I'm sorry, say again?
That Detective Ventry was advising a judge in an affidavit for a search warrant
Yes.
about a particular statement from Dr. Stevenson?
Yes.
And that statement was that Detective...
Objection.
Approach.
In stereo.
Which is good. We appreciate that. Ms. Howard, you may proceed according to the rulings at the sidebar. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you what is also marked. Thank you.
Yes.
For that affidavit also.
Yes.
And in terms of that, sorry, one moment.
What's that, Patty? My food?
Detective Morris signed that in front of, appears to be Judge Powers. Is that correct?
I can't tell.
Okay. At 1:10 p.m.?
Yes.
Do you see that on that particular line below Detective Morris's signature, it says it was March 8th?
Yes.
Directing your attention back to page 1 of that particular affidavit and search warrant, do you see the date instead of March 9th
I do.
above the judge's signature?
Yes.
You have information and knowledge as the lead detective in this case that Detective Morris's search warrant for 4050 Shank was actually served on the 9th of March, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that based upon V as in Victor, T1, T2, and you, that at the time that you were assigned the lead detective position in this particular case, that you were aware that the Butler County Sheriff's Department had information consistent with a 24-hour look-back period?
Approach.
Thanks, Jamie.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed on, the last question that you heard was a question involving potential information that may have been had in terms of timeframes and whatever. I do want to caution you that that is not proffered by way of an expert opinion, and it is not to be considered as a substantive piece of evidence in terms of any medical testimony or medical issue that might be on the table. This is strictly an impeachment type of a situation in terms of the reports and how things were relayed and information conveyed and so forth, and that is all that you are to consider that information for. All right? With that, Ms. Howard, if you would re-ask the question, we'll get the answer.
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Turner, is it fair to say that when you were designated as the lead investigator sometime after Ms. Partin's March 9th statement, that you are aware that the Butler County Sheriff's Department had received, prior to that date, information that the injuries were within a 24-hour time period?
Boom!
That's fair to say, yes.
Okay. And
Within 24 hours, yes.
within 24 hours. You're aware of that, the words within 24 hours?
On the 8th or the 9th?
On the 8th.
I mean, I am because I'm reading this, yes.
You're the lead detective in the case. You've had that designation for at least a year now, correct?
Correct.
Are you telling this jury that this is the first day you've ever seen those search warrants
No,
in
ma'am.
place before you?
No, it's not what I'm telling the jury.
So not only were you aware of within the 24-hour period on March 9th when you became a lead detective after interviewing Ms. Partin, correct?
Correct.
But you were also aware of it every day after. The 10th of March, the 11th of March, all of 2018, and all of 2019, correct? Up until today.
Yes.
And you would agree with me that on March 9th, 2018, when you were questioning Lindsay Partin, you lied to her when you told her the brain injury that she sustained was absolutely not 24 hours prior to, or even an hour prior, correct?
No, that was not a lie.
That's a lie, correct?
Not as far as I understood it, no.
You just told me that you understood it, that the Butler County Sheriff's Department had information that it was within a 24-hour period, correct?
What I know is we were receiving information all the time from doctors.
Detective Ventry went on the 12th of March using that same time period, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that the 12th of March is after March 9th, would you not?
Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't want to not agree with that statement, would you?
No, and I don't.
And you would agree with me that when you told Lindsay Partin that it absolutely was not within 24 hours or even an hour prior, that is a lie to her, correct?
Within 24 hours, sure. Yeah, that was a lie.
Okay. So when you told her that the injury was immediately before the symptoms, that was a lie, correct?
No.
You just said
Within
that
24
the-
hours is a big span.
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about, within that
Absolutely.
24 hours.
You would agree with me that 24
not what you
hours
told her.
is a large span of time.
I'm not sure I'm understanding if we're on the same page.
I'll break it down for you.
Please do.
You would agree with me that within 24 hours does not equate to the word immediately, correct?
It could. It's within 24 hours. Immediately is within 24 hours, the
They're
way
not-
I see it.
They're not the same thing, right?
They're not the same thing, but 24 hours is here and immediate is here. They're all in the 24 hours. That's
Okay.
the way I'm seeing it.
So-
I'm not sure if that's the way you're,
In addition to the word immediately, the truth, as you see it, would also include 24 hours before the word immediately, correct?
I don't follow.
You don't follow?
No.
Do you understand the concept of time?
I do.
Okay, so if the word immediately in your mind means within 24 hours, wouldn't you agree that there's a whole bunch of other words that equate to all the other minutes and seconds in that 24-hour period, correct?
There could be, sure.
You
That's
agree-
not what was
You
used.
agree the word 24 hours means 24 hours?
Within 24 hours.
So like,
It was not 24 hours. It didn't say 24 hours ago. It said within 24 hours
24
ago.
hours.
Yes,
So,
that's what I'm
the
referring
court
to.
clock says it's 2:54 and 10 seconds, and it keeps going. So within 24 hours would have been Sunday, 2:54 yesterday,
To
correct?
right now.
Yes.
Correct.
So,
So 2 minutes ago would have been within 24 hours.
okay, and so would 4 minutes, and so would 5 minutes, and so would 2 hours, and so would 3 hours, and so would 4 hours, and on and on and on, correct?
All the way up to 24 hours. Yes, ma'am.
Correct. And you would agree with me that in terms of the look back of 24 hours, you would agree with me that before 7 o'clock in the morning on the 8th of March of 2018, you have 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4, 3, 2, 1, midnight, 11 on the 7th, 11 p.m., correct?
Yes.
10 p.m. on the 7th?
Yes, 24 hours.
9? Okay, all of
Yes,
those times.
Yes, all of those. Including 6:55 to 7:01.
Asked to strike non-responsive.
That is true.
Thank you. You told Lindsay, whatever happened did not happen prior to her getting to your house. Do you remember that?
Yes,
24 hours is before she gets to her house, correct?
it is.
And Lindsay's response to you was, okay, I don't know what that means, right?
I mean, I'd have to read the transcript, but
You then tell her, it wasn't Thursday and it wasn't Wednesday, for sure. Do you recall telling her that?
yes,
That's not true. They're within 24 hours, right?
yes,
And Lindsay says, I don't know what to say. Do you recall that?
yes,
And you continue on, and you tell Lindsay, we've got these world-renowned neurologists, neurosurgeons, and they say this didn't happen Thursday, and it surely didn't happen Wednesday. Do you remember telling her that?
yes,
But we've got this within 24 hours. You'd agree that Wednesday and Thursday also are within 24 hours, correct?
I agree that the 24 hours was written down on the paper, yes.
Okay. And Lindsay's response to you was, that's crazy. Do you recall that?
I don't necessarily know.
And you continue on and say, this happened immediately. This injury happened and she went down. Do you recall telling her that?
Yes,
And Lindsay tells you she literally walked in the door and that was it. Correct?
which time?
Right after your statement to her.
Okay, yes,
And then you tell her, these people obviously know. They're the doctors. Do you remember telling her that?
I do.
And Lindsay agrees with you. Doctors know. Do you remember her agreeing with you on that?
She agreed a lot, yes.
And you tell Lindsay, everything we know from yesterday, we're telling the doctors, and this is what we're being told. And the doctor says no. You're not telling her that you were told within 24 hours, are you?
No.
You're telling her immediate, and you're skipping all the other minutes and all the other hours, 24 hours from that period of time, correct?
Within 24 hours, yes.
Okay, but you're skipping all those. You'd agree with me, correct?
That's what was in the documentation, but we were getting far more information from doctors than just what this one little line that was in the documentation.
You're aware of Detective Ventry's search warrant,
Yes.
executed,
Yes.
sworn to in front of a judge, correct?
Yes.
You're aware that he signed that on March 12th, correct?
Yes.
Did you know that before you showed up today?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I apologize if I appear to be putting words in your mouth. Sometimes it's Detective Hensley telling Lindsay things, correct?
Yes.
So sometimes it's you, sometimes it's him, or sometimes it's both of you. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And Detective Hensley says, doctor says it's a hit, and she went down. Do you remember that statement by Detective Hensley?
Yes.
And Lindsay says, I wouldn't hit a kid. Do you remember that
I
statement?
do remember that, yes.
And you remember, you're telling Lindsay, someone in that house, after dad dropped her off, injured this kid to the point where she's unconscious, a dramatic fall or something. Do you remember telling her that?
I do.
You introduced fall into the case. Do you remember that? The word
I did,
fall
yes.
is said by you,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
And then you and Hensley tell her it must be some sort of accident. Do you remember telling her that?
I do.
And Lindsay says, I believe you, but that didn't happen Thursday morning. Do you remember that statement?
At first, yes.
I'm going right down the line. Do you not remember that statement?
No, I do. I just was making sure we were in chronological order.
And then you introduce accidental drop in the case. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You tell Lindsay, something absolutely happened. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
In fact, the word something happened, would you agree with me, about 23 or more times? Have you counted it? Did you count it while you listened?
No, I've not counted that, no.
So you didn't count that?
How many times?
You said
I said a
something
specific
happened.
word? No, that's not something I would do.
And Lindsay tells you that did not happen Thursday, and you respond with, it did.
Yes.
And that's not within the 24 hours, except for the word immediately, correct?
It's within 24 hours.
Okay. And you tell her again, no doubt, from when you walked in the door to the time she fell, that's when it happened. Do you remember telling her that?
I do.
And it absolutely happened during this time. Do you remember telling her that?
I sure do.
And the only ones there were you and a couple of kids. Do you remember telling her that?
That's what she told us, yes.
You're aware that the day before that they kept trying to insert TJ into the house that morning. Do you recall that?
Trying to rule him out, yes.
And then you suggest an accident again as the reason for this injury. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And she tells you, I really don't know what happened. Do you remember that?
I do.
You tell her whether it was an accident or not. You're asking her about accident again. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You remember you tell her something happened under your care and in about a 5-minute time frame. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Lindsay says, I don't know what else to say. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you tell her, something happened, okay, something happened. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you tell her again, something happened, so we're beyond nothing happened. The only person who knows what happened is you. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
And she said, I'm telling you that I don't know. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you tell her to stop talking about Wednesday. You remember telling her that?
I do.
No point in talking about Wednesday. We're beyond that. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because this happened in a 5-minute span in your custody. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you and Hensley tell her it happened when she was in your care, correct?
Yes.
And Lindsay says, I don't know what else to say. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you and Hensley again talk about an accident. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You ask, has she fallen? Has she been dropped or something? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Lindsay says, I did not do anything to her. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Lindsay tells you he barely walked out the door. Do you remember that?
Not specifically.
You know that
Referring
she,
to who?
Lindsay, that he
Who
is and
barely-
Jason,
Oh, okay.
that father had barely walked out the door.
Okay.
And you tell her, as soon as you guys walk into the house, something happened. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
No doubt something happened. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
You tell her something absolutely happened. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
And then you tell her, we're not going back to Wednesday. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We're not going back to the morning that Dad had her. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
We're beyond that. Do you remember telling her that?
Correct.
And you tell her it's narrowed down by brain surgeons that it happened right when she hit the ground. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
Right when she hit the ground, if you use your words, is 1 millisecond within 24 hours, correct?
I would say so, yes.
And Lindsay says, I don't know. She just collapsed in front of me. Do you remember her telling you that?
Yes.
And you tell Lindsay, there's no doubt in our minds that this was an accident. Do you remember telling her that about an accident?
Yes.
That it was a horrible, horrible accident. Do you remember telling her that?
Yes.
And Lindsay says, she didn't fall Thursday morning. Do you remember she told you that, correct?
Yes.
I'm going sequentially.
Okay, yeah.
And you and Hensley keep on her. This is a horrible accident. You have to tell us exactly what this accident was. You remember saying that to her?
Yes,
You tell her Lindsay's still being treated. You remember telling her that?
I do. Hannah was still being treated.
Correct. I
Yes.
apologize. Thank you. You tell her it was a hit, a drop, she fell, she hit her head, she had whiplash. You say those words several times, correct?
Yes,
You and Detective Hensley, correct?
correct.
You tell her it's an accident that caused it, and you need to know what happened because Hannah's still being treated. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that you suggested it was an accident at least 10 times?
At least, yes.
And would you agree with me that you suggested, or Detective Hensley suggested, that the child fell at least 4 times?
At least, yes.
And that you suggested that she'd been dropped 3 times?
Oh, yes.
And that you suggested whiplash, correct?
Yes.
And that she'd been hit, correct?
Yes.
And after you suggested all these things, you'd agree with me that that's when Lindsay says she fell and hit the concrete step. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
That's what that interview is up until that point in time.
Yes.
Okay, so then I have a question. This is my first question and my most important question tonight, which is, how does this differ from Tammy Lee and Coder talking to Chris? Oh, did Shanann do something to the girls? Did Shanann do something to the girls? And that's what put it in Chris's head to then say that, you know, Shanann did the girls and he did what Shanann did to the girls. He did that to her. So if that's police tactic, that to tell you things just like they were, and she's just making shit up like she did, isn't that the same thing that Chris did with the Tammy Lee and Coder interview? And everyone said that, no, that's a lie, and that he only said that because Tammy Lee put it in his head. Remember? So you can't have it both ways, folks. With that being said, hey, mate. With that being said, how is this not the same situation? It is the same situation. So, is Lindsay Partin's, you know, at that point when, I guess you could say there's a minute or an hour into it when I had mentioned that everything starts changing. Again, you can't have it both ways, folks. If Tammy Lee is being praised for her work getting Chris to, you know, lie and say, oh, yeah, Shanann hurt the kids and I hurt her, because she hurt the kids. Because of what Tammy Lee was saying, that's why Chris said that. And it's a tactic. Okay, it's a tactic. So we take this situation, and this detective is doing it with Lindsay Partin. So you're getting her to lie because that's what the tactic is. It's a false confession. You can't have it both ways, folks. This is exactly what Tammy Lee and Coder did Chris. Okay. Chris confesses, but then that's not the true statement. But it didn't happen like that, though. Well, you can't have it both ways. So if Chris lied when they started doing what they were doing, then doesn't it make sense that, Lindsay Partin's lying here when she's saying, okay, well, she's just everything she's following in their footsteps. Okay, yeah, I was holding her. She fell. Oh, no, then I was holding her and that's when we fell because it was up higher. I mean, everything is leading to her to say something, just like Chris. The difference is that Lindsay Partin didn't put kids in oil tanks. Lindsay Partin didn't move bodies. Lindsay Partin called the freaking cops immediately. Immediately. Chris goes about his day. And both of these people are charged with murder. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on. Oh, man. A little bit longer on those noodles. They're looking flat. You want some cavatelli, some meatball, a little bit of homemade, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of. We'll go back to press and play here, but this is exactly what Tammy Lee and Coder did to Chris, and he lied.
So after almost 10 minutes of you and Detective Hensley saying, it's you, only you and 2 kids, and something happened. It's an accident, it was a hit, it was a fall, she was dropped, that's when Lindsay says she fell and hit the concrete. You'd agree with that, correct?
After all that, yes.
You know that Lindsay's brother is a Kentucky police officer, correct?
She told me that, yes.
And you knew that from the day before, correct?
I don't know when.
Were you told that information when you went into the interview room with Lindsay?
And that would have not been something pertinent to the interview, no.
It wouldn't be pertinent to the interview to know that this girl right here trusted police?
No.
It wouldn't be?
Most people trust police, so no, that wouldn't be a pertinent.
And you'd agree with me that the day before, maybe you didn't know this, did you know that Sergeant Whitlock had told her that Hannah was dead on March 8th?
I did.
That was a lie, correct?
That was a lie, yes.
Did you know that Lindsay Partin had close family friends in addition to her brother who was a law enforcement officer and she trusted all of the police?
I didn't know that, no.
You saw she'd never had any interrogation by a police officer before, hadn't you?
I would assume that, judging by her record, yes.
She didn't have a record, correct?
Correct. That's why I would assume that.
You talked to her about touch DNA. You know that's false, correct?
Yes.
You would agree with me that you saw the essential oils on the counter at Lindsay Partin's house?
In person?
Sure, let's go there.
No.
Did you ever go to 4050 Shank Road?
I did very briefly, yes.
Did you ever go to 4004 Shank Road?
No,
Never.
never.
I'm going to show you what was previously identified and admitted as State's Exhibit 107.
Okay.
Having handed you 107, you recognize that particular photograph at all?
Yes,
You'd agree that it's part of the case file in this matter?
yes.
And in regards to that, do you see the essential oils on the particular counter? I apologize, let me put it up on the screen.
Not at a glance, I don't know.
Let me put it up on the screen,
Okay.
because this has been admitted. Do you see State's Exhibit 107 up on your computer screen?
I do, ma'am.
Do you see these items here?
Yes.
Any idea what those are?
I would assume they are essential oils.
Oh,
You lie to Lindsay Partin in that interview when you tell her that Jason Weshy said the babysitter did it, don't you? That's a lie. You're interviewing her on March 9th, and
Yeah, I
that's a
don't
lie.
believe I spoke to, well, I know I didn't speak to Jason, so, yeah, that could have been.
It could have been.
it could have been a
I'll go
lie.
with yes, but I don't know exactly what I knew.
Had you had
Jason
an
Weshy
opportunity to review the notes of the other police officer who spoke with Jason Weshy at Fort Hamilton Hospital on the morning
I
of the
wouldn't
8th?
have, I wouldn't have reviewed the notes, but I would have got, I would have received an update of whatever his statement was before I would have went in. I don't
And-
specifically remember
So you made
that
that up?
briefing.
You made that up when you're interviewing Lindsay Partin, correct?
Repeat it again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You lie to Lindsay Partin
Uh-huh.
when you tell her Jason Weshy says, Hannah keeps saying the babysitter did all of these. Isn't that a lie?
But, well, that was a mistake. I believe that was from,
That's a
Another-
lie. On March
another
9th,
witness.
that's a lie.
okay, yeah, that's a lie, yes.
When you and Detective Hensley are going through the photos of the bruising, those are from photographs from the Children's Hospital, is that correct?
Yes,
And Lindsay tells you she thought the bruises were from the gravel, that she saw new bruises the morning of Wednesday on the chin and chest. Do you remember that?
yes,
And you tell her the bruises on her chin, neck, chest, and torso were absolutely, didn't happen on a fall on a flat driveway. Do you recall that?
yes,
And she says, I do not know. I thought it was the gravel in the fall. Do you remember that?
yes,
And she says, I don't know about those. And you tell her she does. Do you remember that?
yes,
Lindsay tells you for over 5 minutes she doesn't know how she got all those bruises, correct?
yes,
You asked her about a bath, correct?
I did.
During your investigation, did you have an opportunity to open up State's Exhibit 124 and scroll through her phone at all?
I did not do that, no.
You never opened up this phone?
Is that the same question?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, no, I did not go through that phone.
You're the lead investigator in this case, and you're aware that simply turning on the phone with the code that she gave you on March 8th would let you look and see all information, correct?
I already had that information on a whiteboard in our room. Yeah, I didn't need to go through that phone.
What do you mean you already had that information on a whiteboard?
You're speaking of the 9th? You're referring to the 9th?
Sure.
Okay. Her phone was, the 5 major times that we needed were obtained on the 8th.
Okay. But you've never opened up her phone and
No,
looked at it?
ma'am, I
And
would,
this is an iPhone. Are you familiar with iPhones at all?
I'm not actually, no.
So when you previously identified 124 as her phone, how did you identify that?
I obtained the phone. I saw the phone, I was aware of the phone, but I never went through the phone. That was the question.
Okay, so you never have gone through this?
For the third time, correct.
I'm going to hand you the envelope this was in. Put it back in the envelope. Can you show me your markings on that particular envelope indicating that you obtained or you possessed or you opened that at any point in time?
He didn't even look at the phone. Cell phone, what did we need that for? So you lied. Yeah. So you lied. Yes. So you lied. So you lied. Yes. You lied. How does nobody on the stand have a problem with this? I mean, in the jury. I mean, America needs to wake up. Yo, look at what I'm doing. I just made myself some cavatelli. Homemade little jarred up sauce for my folks. And it's so good. But I just need to wake up. America needs to wake up. If you want to go be on a jury, or you get summit, but you don't get to just say you want to be on a jury, but can we just use our brains? Like, how would you feel if you got lied to and you just got zeroed in and railroaded? Think how many times like we misspeak when we're talking to somebody, but you need to be held to every single word you will ever out of your mouth. Like, no, that's not what I meant. Or, no, I said this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Like, sheesh. This is just a tragedy. Hannah's deaf. And now this.
I'm sorry, the last part of the question?
Any markings of your own identifying that you touched that, you opened it, you possessed it?
I wouldn't have opened this. I didn't open it until Friday.
Okay.
Once it's sealed, I did not open it. It doesn't appear that anyone had opened it. But all this sloppy handwriting is mine.
Okay. Do you see any handwriting that you identify as Detective Entry's?
I wouldn't suspect. This appears to be... There's some handwriting on it that's not mine. I'm not sure if that was where it was sealed and previously opened again. It could be Joe Ventry initials, yes.
Okay. Badge number 1179?
It doesn't say.
Is it normal that you guys would put your badge number on and a piece of evidence that you've touched, handled, opened, looked at?
That's requested, yes.
Is it a policy and procedure of the Butler County Sheriff's Department?
That I'm not sure. I typically do it.
Lindsay tells you that she didn't give a bath to Hannah on the Monday before the 8th. Do you recall that?
Don't specifically recall that.
Did you check to see if there were any notes contained within the phone about baths?
I did not, no. Once again, I did not go through the phone.
Madam Prosecutor asked you, after watching the video this morning, about the word uppercut. You recall that question by Ms. Sheehan?
Yes.
You'd agree with me that it's you who said uppercut, correct?
To describe what she did, yes.
In fact, to describe what she did, she had an open hand, and you said it's an uppercut,
She
didn't
didn't
you?
have an open hand, ma'am. No. She absolutely did not have an open hand. Looks like it on the video, but she did not. She had her hand just
I'm
like
sorry,
this.
the video looks like it was an open hand.
That-
You're telling this jury that you saw a closed fist.
Ma'am, no.
Is that what
no,
you're saying?
No, I did not say a closed fist.
That's what I heard. Thank you.
Is this a closed fist or open hand? I don't know, but this is what she did.
You're the one who said closed fist, didn't you?
I consider that a closed fist. That's a
She
martial
didn't
art.
say that.
This is a martial arts closed fist.
Do you have any information to suggest that Lindsay Partin knows anything about martial arts?
No, but her terminology, your terminology, and my terminology could be different on what a closed fist is and what a closed fist is not. That's why I'm describing you to what I thought was a closed fist. This is what she did. Yes, and she agreed. She didn't deny that she
Because
did
you
it with
told her it
open
was an
hand.
uppercut. Do you remember that? You remember saying to her,
No.
don't tell me once, don't tell me once. So she says twice. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was obvious that there was more than one. That's why I said that.
It was obvious that the information that the sheriff's department had on March 9th was within a 24-hour period, correct?
Within a 24-hour period, yes.
And it was obvious, at least on March 10th, or some date after, that you knew Jason Weshy had lied about the milk in his fridge, remember?
It was probably on the 10th where we discovered a discrepancy, yes.
I'm going to show you what's marked as Defendant's Exhibits AA 1 through 22. Before I hand you these, I believe I just heard you tell this jury that it was sometime after March 10th that you understood the discrepancy existed about the milk,
I didn't
correct?
say sometime after. I said around the 10th.
Is that like within 24 hours? Is that like the same phrase?
Everything is always within 24 hours, depending on the point.
Okay. Handing you Defendant's Exhibit AA 1 through 22 that appear to be photographs. Do you recognize those at all as the lead detective in this case?
I do.
Okay. You recognize them as the kitchen of 4004 Shank Road, correct?
I do.
You agree with me that those were taken on March 8th, correct?
Yes.
They were taken pursuant to Detective Hensley's search warrant on March 8th, correct?
Correct.
And let me know when you finished.
Okay.
Permission to publish?
Objection.
Approach, please. On the basis of the last question, it will be sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard it. Ms. Howard, you may proceed to rephrasing the question accordingly.
Detective Turner, you had before you Exhibit AA 1 through 22, is that correct?
Correct.
And you've had an opportunity to view those photos?
I did.
Is today the first time you've ever seen those photographs?
No.
When did you first see those photographs?
Shortly after they were taken.
Okay. Do you have any reason to disagree that they're of 4004 Shank Road?
No.
That they were taken on March 8th of 2018 by Detective either Steele, Morris, or Hensley?
Correct.
Okay. And they were within your case file?
Yes.
And they appear to be a true and accurate, they've been relayed to you to be a true and accurate depiction of what they took photographs of, correct?
Correct.
Do you recognize that to be the refrigerator in 4004?
Yes.
Specifically, exhibits AA 21 and 22?
Yes.
And do you have any reason to believe that that's not I'll wait till you get to it.
Sorry.
They're the last two, if that would help at all.
Okay, yes, it would. Okay.
Do you have any reason to believe that they're not a
No.
true and accurate depiction of 4004 Shank Road?
No.
And that is in Butler County, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ask to publish.
Stay.
No objection, Your Honor. Which specific photo?
Yeah, that was my next question.
I'm going to start with 21 and 22, and I'll work my way through it.
As to 21 and 22, the refrigerator, the state has no objection.
I think it's really all the question is covered at this point.
Uh,
So 21 and 22, I'm sorry, AA 21 and 22.
Sorry. I use letters, and there's some other exhibits that I'd already pre-marked. That's why
Right.
this one's double A.
No, I have to make sure that it separates since the state uses numbers. Double A, 21 and 22, it'll be admitted, you may publish.
Thank you. Before I get to that, Detective, could you look through double A 1 through 20 also, please?
Sure.
Take your time.
Okay. I think I may have got them out of order.
I can put it back in, that's fine.
Sorry. Okay.
Would you agree, Detective Turner, that double A 1 through 20 also appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of what 4004 Shank Road was when those detectives took those photographs?
That's my understanding.
And that's within your case file?
Yes.
Asked to publish all 22, Your Honor.
Same objection, Your Honor.
That's approved. Agreed to the admission and publication of 21 through 22. I don't know if you want to go that route first.
I will.
You may continue, go ahead.
They're all out of order. I'm
That's all
sorry.
right, I'm just going to turn on. Showing you what's marked as double A 21. Sorry, my eyes are not that great. Okay, so this is the inside of the fridge at 4004. The doors are open, is that correct?
Yes.
And you identified that that was a photograph of the fridge at that residence that other detectives had taken on March 8th?
Yes.
And you would agree with me when I say March 8th, it was at least sometime after Detective Hensley signed his search warrant at 1:41 p.m. on March 8th?
Yes.
And do you know specifically what time it was done?
I don't. Not off the top of my head, no.
You see any milk in the door?
No.
Sorry, I touched it. Let me move it. Okay. Showing you what's marked as double A 22. That appear to be the inside, also demonstrating the freezer door and refrigerator door are both opened.
Yes.
You don't see any milk in there, is that correct?
That's correct.
You'd agree with me, Detective, that whether father went to Walmart and got milk the night before within that 24-hour period is important, correct?
Important? How so?
Because he lied.
It's determined that he did not lie.
You got a video of him at Walmart getting milk on March 7th?
no,
Are you
about-
telling me that?
No, it was determined that he...
Are you telling me? That appear to be the inside, also demonstrating the freezer door and refrigerator door are both opened?
Yes,
You don't see any milk in there, is that correct?
that's correct.
You'd agree with me, Detective, that whether father went to Walmart and got milk the night before within that 24-hour period is important, correct?
Important? How so?
Because he lied.
It was determined that he did not lie.
You got a video of him at Walmart getting milk on March
No,
7th?
no,
Are you
about-
telling me that?
No, it was determined that he...
Are you telling me that you have a video of him at Walmart, just like he told you that he went and got milk on the 7th? Is that what you're saying?
It was determined that he did not lie about that. He did not go to Walmart, correct?
Okay, do you have a video of him going to get milk?
No, There's no video of him getting milk.
And there's no milk in the fridge, correct?
No, he did not go get milk.
And he told the
He
police.
told us that, but it was determined that that was not a lie.
Because there was milk in the fridge? I didn't see it. Can I put that back up? Can you point
No,
to me? Can you point
means-
to me the milk?
There's no milk in there.
There's no milk
I've
in
already
there.
testified to that, yes.
He didn't go to Walmart, correct?
He did not go get milk, yes. But it was determined that that was not a lie.
What was it?
I don't know what it would have been, but he did not purposely tell us that he went to go get milk and not go get milk.
He
That was
didn't just
determined
tell-
that that was not a lie.
He
That
didn't
was-
just tell you, I'm sorry, he didn't just tell Detective Ventry or Detective Sprague that he went and got milk, correct?
Correct.
So he said on March 8th at Fort Hamilton Hospital, when asked what he did the night before, he said he and Hannah went and got milk. He said that at Fort
Yes,
Hamilton,
he did
correct?
say that, yes.
He said at Children's Hospital to Detective Ventry that he went and got milk, correct?
Yes, he did say that, yes.
And Butler County Sheriff's Department detectives or officers went to Walmart to try to obtain the video of Jason Weshy and Hannah Weshy at Walmart sometime in the evening hours of March 7th, correct?
Correct.
And there was no video,
He
correct?
did not go, correct.
He's not in any video, correct?
Correct.
Did he go to some other store?
I don't know. He did not go to Walmart.
Do you see any milk in this fridge?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
There is no milk in the refrigerator.
No, next question.
Oh, sorry.
Detective, you wrote a updated report of investigation that you've already identified as H as in Harry, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that there is not an entry anywhere in that in regards to milk, correct?
Correct.
You don't say the word milk in those 11 pages whatsoever, correct?
That's fair to say, yes.
Is it fair to say that it's only later, sometime in November, that you write a statement about the milk?
Yes.
Do you remember when you wrote that particular statement, sir?
November, I don't know the exact date of 2018.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's marked as Defendant's Exhibit S, as in Stephen. Do you recognize Defendant's Exhibit S?
Yes.
That appears to be a statement made by you.
Yes.
1 second, let me get to it. Do you remember when you had this conversation with Mr. Weshy about the Walmart discrepancy?
It was on or about the 10th of, it was 3/10 of 2018.
Actually, it was on or about 3/10.
On or about,
of 2018, correct?
Correct, yes.
And you wrote this statement in November of 2018, correct?
Yes.
So if we went back to your computer, like you did for Detective Lambert, that would show a computer entry in November of 2018, correct?
Correct.
And you'd never written it before,
No.
and you indicate in this part of your report that Jason now says he was mistaken.
Yes.
Is that why it's not a lie?
No, that's not why it's not a lie.
Did you see milk in the fridge? The picture's still up.
No, there's no milk in the fridge for the
Objection,
5th time.
Yes, sustained.
There's no cereal in the house either, isn't that correct?
At the time the pictures were taken, no.
No milk, no cereal?
At the time the pictures were taken, no.
The pictures were taken on March 8th, the afternoon of March 8th, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any information to believe that Jason Weshy, when he left 4050 Shank Road, following the EMT, that he came back before your detectives got there to take photographs?
No, that's not what I'm referring to.
Did you look for other stores' videos to see if Mr. Weshy had been telling the truth when he said he went to go get milk the night before?
No, he told us he did not go after I called him back.
After your telephone call with him?
Correct.
But he told that to the hospital, correct?
I'm not sure what he...
You're not sure that he told the hospital
The
that she was
hospital.
acting normal, that she'd had milk and cereal that
Objection.
morning?
Permission to approach.
Yeah, approach. All right, objection was withdrawn. Ms. Howard, you may proceed.
Detective Hensley, I'm sorry, Detective Turner. My question was, as lead detective, you're not aware that that's what Jason Weshy was telling the hospital?
Yeah, yes.
You're aware of that?
I know it was said at the hospital. I don't know if he told hospital personnel per se. That was told to a detective.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's defendant's exhibit P and Q. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm showing you what's marked as defendant's exhibit P as in Paul, Q as in quarter. Do you recognize?
Yes.
You recognize your signature on those documents?
Yes, ma'am.
And, 1 second. Is it fair to say that on the approximately 4-hour interview that we were just watching for the last couple days, I guess Friday and today, that while Lindsay is sitting in that room after you and Hensley leave, that you go to Area 1 and sign these complaints?
Yes.
And that P, as in Paul, I think that's what I called it. I know it's P. I might have called it Peter. Is your complaint charging in Area 1 court Lindsay Partin with the offense of felonious assault?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that on that complaint that's signed by you, that you indicated that the to wit, we've discussed the word to wit, right?
Yes.
To wit, on 3/8/2018, Lindsay.
Objection, Your Honor, may we approach?
Sure. As far as the conversation goes, keeping in line with the conversation, Ms. Howard, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. On to defendant's exhibit P, as in Paul.
Yes.
The to wit. You would agree with me that you swore this to be true, correct?
Yes.
And the to wit says, on 3/8/2018, Lindsay Partin did knowingly cause a serious physical harm to a child by shaking her, correct?
Yes.
That's what you charged her with, correct?
Correct.
And that was constituting the offense of felonious assault, correct?
Yes.
And you swore that when you went up to Area 1, correct?
Yes.
That's part of that lapse of time
Yes.
that Lindsay's sitting in that room? Because you'd agree with me, Area
Yes.
1's in Oxford,
It is.
so you got to drive up there.
Correct.
And on to Exhibit Q, Defendant's Exhibit Q. You recognize that to be your signature,
Yes.
as well as your badge number, 1805, behind your name?
Yes, ma'am.
And you swore this to be true in front of a deputy clerk of some sort on March 9th, is that correct?
Yes.
And in that particular charge on Q, that's the complaint for child endangering, correct?
Yes.
And on that day, your to wit for that was on 3/8/2018, Lindsay Partin did knowingly cause a serious physical harm to a child by shaking her, thereby constituting the offense of child endangering. You agree with, that's what you
Yes.
wrote?
Yes.
And you typed this up, or did Detective Hensley type this up?
No, a lot of times we'll type it up, but when we get there, they'll retype it. The clerk will. So I don't know whether I specifically typed this or if the clerk did.
And you'd agree with me that those two particular documents, you then hand to Lindsay at the end of the video when you and Hensley come back from Area 1 and you say, these are yours? Before
Yes.
you're exiting the room, correct?
Right.
It's those two complaints, correct?
Yes.
And within your complaints, both of them identical, indicate that this complaint is based upon Detective Turner's investigation and Lindsay Partin's admission, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that up until the point in time that you go to Area 1 to sign these complaints, that your investigation consists solely of talking to Lindsay Partin, correct? Your investigation, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
You hadn't talked to other witnesses, correct?
Right. Yes.
How long have you been a detective, sir?
3 years, ma'am.
And what's your swearing-in date as a detective?
June 27th, I believe,
Of which year?
of 2016.
And so in March of 2018, you've been a detective for less than 2 years, correct?
Yes.
And when you were assigned as lead investigator, lead detective on this particular case, sometime around March 9th after you've talked with Lindsay Partin, filed these charges, had you previously been assigned as the lead detective in any murder case before?
No, ma'am.
Had you previously been assigned as the lead detective in any child endangering case?
No, ma'am.
Do you still have H in front of you, sir?
Is that a document?
Yes, it's your updated report of investigations.
It's here someplace.
It's a little thicker.
Yeah.
Okay. You've had a chance to look through H.
Yes.
I'm going to ask that you count those pages.
$17.
And if you took H with your milk note, which is S as in Stevens, do you have S up there still?
Yes.
If you took H and S, is that all of the notes contained within the Butler County Sheriff's Department computer system about the investigation on Hanaweshi?
Yes.
You didn't leave out any other detectives' statements or narratives that they've supplied to you?
No.
And you indicated when you first began testifying on Friday that the narrative that I asked Detective Lambert about, which was Exhibit I as in Ingrid, I wasn't contained in yours updated report of investigation?
No, ma'am.
I was not contained within your Exhibit S, which is your updated about the milk on or about the 10th of March, correct?
No.
Have you had a chance to go back and look through the computer system for all of the detectives that have touched this case to see if there are other notes that you didn't get possession of?
Yes, I did.
Did you do that the evening of
Yes.
Detective Lambert's testimony?
Correct.
And you didn't find any more other than
No, I
that
did
one?
not.
So other than her entry on March 25th of 2019, the entry before that would have been November of 2018 when you made the Exhibit S into the computer system, correct?
Yes.
And the one before that would be your updated report investigation inclusive of the date of April 18th,
Correct.
2018, correct?
Yes.
So let's go through H if we could, please. It begins, you'd agree with me, with the narrative from the report by Deputy Mayor, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you include the notes from Detective Sprague and Detective Lambert on 3/8 of 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
And then it is inclusive of a note by Detective Lambert on March 8th, 2018 in regards to her telephone call with Christina Lewis. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that after watching that video just shortly ago, that Detective Lambert did not, in fact, know Christina Lewis's phone number, name, or address on March 9th? You'd agree with me, correct?
On the 9th? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she had to ask for it. Is that what you're
She's
referring
seen in
to?
that video, correct?
Yes.
She's the female detective that comes in at the end.
Right.
And has.
Ask for the information?
It has the
Yes.
phone, correct?
Yes.
And then comes back again with the phone and has it turned on and asks Lindsay to locate Christina Lewis's information.
Yes.
Phone number, address, her contact info, correct?
Yes.
And so you'd agree with me that within your updated report of investigation, it's inaccurate that she had this telephone call with Miss Lewis on the 8th of March, correct?
I'm misunderstanding your question.
That's simple. On March 9th in this video, you saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Today
yes.
wasn't the first time you've ever seen this video, correct?
Yes.
How many times have you seen this video before today?
Multiple.
Multiple times.
Don't like to watch it.
Multiple times.
Yes.
And you see that on March 9th, Detective Lambert comes
Yes.
into the room in the last, I'm going to say 20 minutes total of the video, correct? And
Yeah.
she specifically comes in twice, correct?
I think I know what you're talking. Yes. Yes.
That happens on March 9th, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So she didn't call Christina Lewis on March 8th, correct?
I can't say that. I don't know.
Well,
I
you
can't
put
speak
it
for
in your,
what she did. I didn't write. I don't write these. If they've got their names by them, that detective wrote it.
okay.
So I can't speak for that.
So you're not going to testify to the veracity of Detective Lambert's notes. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I can't speak for her. If she says that it was the 8th, then it's the 8th. That was something you would have to ask her. I don't
Just
know.
like she said that she did Exhibit I, way back in March of 2018,
I believe you asked her about that, so.
and then you confirmed by your computer systems that she had not done that until 2019, correct?
Correct.
Moving on, the next page has an entry by Detective Hensley on March 8th, correct?
Yes.
He was getting the search warrants, correct?
Yes.
The ones that I've had you identify as Defendant's Exhibit T1 and T2, is that correct?
Yes.
The next entry is Detective Hensley and Detective Lambert. Do you see that?
Yes.
On March 9th?
Yes.
It appears to have been written by Detective Hensley, is that correct?
Yes.
Because the statement is Detective Lambert and I.
Correct.
The next page continues on with March 9th. Is your interview with Detective Hensley of Miss Partin, is that correct?
Yes.
The next entry is March 13th, is that correct?
Yes.
You and Detective Hensley went to the Mayerson Center for the team meeting, is that correct?
Correct.
And do you recall what doctors were at that team meeting on March 13th?
It was Dr. Dean.
Was Dr. Makaroff there?
No.
The next entry is March 13th also by Detective Hensley, is that correct?
Yes.
The next entry goes back to March 8th, is that correct?
Correct.
It's a note by Detective Deathridge and Detective Ventry down at Children's Hospital, correct?
Correct.
Appears to have been written by by Detective Deathridge, correct?
Yes. Yes.
The entry after that at approximately page 14 appears to be March 9th of 2018, is that correct?
Yes.
It uses the word I. Do you know who wrote this?
That would have also been Detective Deathridge.
The next entry lists March 7th of 2018. Would you agree that's probably not true?
That's not accurate. Correct.
That's an entry by Detective Morris, is that correct?
Correct.
Speaks of the search warrants at 4004 and 4050.
Yes.
The next entry appears also to be from Detective Morris, listing now the date of March 8th. Do you see that?
Yes,
So he's probably got that date wrong also?
correct.
So that would be actually his March 9th search
Yes.
warrant, is that correct?
Yes,
Previously identified by you as Exhibit U.
yes,
And then there's an entry by you on March 16th, is that correct?
yes,
Identifying both yourself and Detective Hensley, is that correct?
correct.
Do you know who wrote that?
Me?
Okay. The entry after that is March 20th of 2018. Do you see that?
Yes,
That's when you, I'm assuming you wrote March 20th,
I did,
correct?
correct,
You and Detective Hensley went and observed the autopsy, is that correct?
correct.
The next entry after March 20th is March 22nd, is that correct?
Yes,
In regards to a telephone call, is that correct?
that's correct.
And the final entry is April 18th of 2018 by
Yes.
you also, is that correct?
Yes,
About a telephone call, correct?
correct.
So you're advising that the entirety of the report of investigations is contained within H, which is your updated report of investigations,
And S,
and S.
and there is one more.
There's another supplement that we haven't received yet.
There's an email, yes.
Can we approach, please? Speak of, you'd agree, was an email in September of 2018?
Yes.
So in terms of what you did as a lead investigation in this case, you'd agree with me that there's nothing in April after April 18th of 2018, correct?
Yes,
May of 18, nothing?
right,
June, July, August, September, then you have a telephone call?
yes,
So you'd agree with me, Detective Turner, that the sum and substance of your investigation in this case consists of the interview of Lindsay Partin, correct? Number
yes,
one?
yep, yes,
And then I believe you identified from there the autopsy, the Mayerson Clinic, team meeting, 3 telephone calls and an email. Is that accurate?
that's what's in the report, yes.
Okay.
The notes, sorry.
Okay. Do you have some other report that I'm not aware of?
No, I call them notes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were thorough on that particular point. Thank you. In addition to Detective Lambert speaking with Christina Lewis, you also spoke with her, is that correct?
I did,
And Christina Lewis is the mother of the other child that Lindsay Partin babysits?
yes.
And have you seen a photograph of her?
I don't recall if I have or not.
I'm going to show you exhibit, I'm sorry, I'll just put it up on the screen, 107. Do you see this child right here?
I do,
Sorry. Do you see the child here?
yes,
That's Lindsay Partin standing there, correct?
yes,
Do you see the child there?
I do,
Do you know that to be Miss Lewis's child?
I don't,
You don't know what the children that were being babysat there looked like?
not, I mean, they were all similar looking.
You'd agree with me that you talked with Miss Lewis, correct?
I did,
And no charges were filed?
on Miss Lewis,
Correct.
correct,
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. On Lindsay Partin about the Lewis child?
Correct, yes,
I just didn't
yes.
want to say her name again, I apologize.
right.
How many times have you met with the prosecutors in this case?
2 or 3 probably.
You went over the video, is that correct?
Which video, ma'am?
The 3/9/18 video that we just spent 4 hours looking at?
Yes,
When did you discuss with the prosecutors Detective Lambert's purported 3/8/18 narrative, which was Exhibit I?
Which narrative was that? I mean, do I have
The
it?
lie, the one that was actually created in the week before trial?
What's the question?
When did you talk to the detectives about, I'm sorry, when did you talk to the prosecutors about that?
That night?
How many search warrants have you been in affiant on?
I have no idea, ma'am.
More than one?
Yes.
Are you familiar with how it's important as the affiant in an affidavit when you're presenting it to a judge to be true,
Yes,
to be correct?
correct.
You're seeking a search warrant of some sort on the words that you've said to this particular judge, correct?
Yes.
You don't want to lie to that judge, do you?
No, ma'am.
Prior to Detective Lambert's testimony, had you seen Exhibit J1 through 13?
What does that mean?
The photographs of Hannah Wesch's bedroom at 4004?
Yes.
It was part of the case file, correct?
Correct.
You'd seen that?
I had, yes.
Just like you saw the photographs from the kitchen area, correct?
Yes.
Any reason to believe that J1 through J13 aren't a true and accurate depiction of what Hannah Wesch's bedroom looked like at the residence of 4004?
No, ma'am.
No reason to believe differently about the kitchen photos either.
Correct.
Have you been out to the Shank Road residence at all?
Yes. Which one?
Either one.
Yes, I've already testified to that, yes.
When did you go out to 4050 Shank Road?
Sometime on the 9th. After the interview.
After the interview.
Correct.
When the 3D photographs were being taken?
Yes.
Pursuant to Detective Morris' search warrant?
Yes.
I have no further questions for Detective Turner. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Howard.
Trying to clean up all my notes. Sorry.
Is she in any redirect?
Yes, briefly, Your Honor.
You may proceed whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Detective, we've heard some testimony regarding the interview that you had with Ms. Partin on March 9th, 2018. Is that right?
Yes.
There was also some testimony on cross-examination that you told her that this was an accident. Is that right?
Yes.
Then you also told her that this was a fall or a drop.
Correct.
Why do you do that?
It's part of what's called the Reed technique, which is the technique that the Butler County Sheriff's Office uses for interviews like this. It's called offering them a theme. It's basically used to get someone to open up. You offer them a lesser degree, try to get them to admit to that. Once they admit to that, then you build upon that.
And did you do this theme technique with your interview with Ms. Partin?
Yes.
There was some questions on cross-examination regarding defendant maybe not answering your question and then you re-asking the question a couple times. Why is that? Why do you re-ask a question that she's maybe already given you an answer to?
I'm having difficulties remembering exactly what that was in reference to.
And I'm trying to think of the exact question as well.
So ask the question again,
Sure.
and maybe it'll come back.
When you asked the defendant a question in her interview and she gave you an answer, I don't know what to say, for instance, why would you re-ask the question again?
Because that's obviously not the truth.
You're aware that Sergeant Whitlock told the defendant that Hannah was dead.
Yes.
Are you aware of why he did that?
Objection, outside his knowledge. He said he wasn't even there on March 8th.
Calls for speculation, what's this thing?
Detective, you've testified that you have been in a fine on search warrants before.
Yes.
And you've filled out a search warrant affidavit, is that
Yes.
correct? When you fill out a search warrant affidavit, do you give every single piece of information that you have in your investigation?
No, we do not.
And why not?
It's not required, and we just, there's certain things we don't want out there until we're ready for it to be out there, such as a trial.
Again, I have one moment, Your Honor.
Sure, take your time.
I have no further questions, thank you.
All right.
Some follow-up.
Ms. Howard, you may proceed to read across the room.
Detective Turner, where did you learn the read technique?
At a school taught by a Reed.
I'm sorry?
At a school taught by one of the Reed, one of the members from the Reed family.
And prior to June 27th of 2016, is that when you taken that class?
Yes.
And you're also familiar that that type of questioning can lead to mental manipulation, correct?
No.
You're also aware that that type of technique can lead to false confession, correct?
No.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Approach.
Sorry.
Howard, if you'd like to read the question.
I will, Your Honor. You're aware, Detective Turner, that these techniques can result in false confession?
No.
You're aware that these techniques can result in an internalized confession?
Internalized?
Correct.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you told her what happened. You told her what you wanted to hear from her, that it was an accident, something happened, that a fall happened. You told her all that, right?
A theme, yes.
You told her all that.
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
All right, Detective, you may step down. Please watch your step. I got counsel up here for a second, please, so I'm trying to get an idea of scheduling.
False confession, mental manipulation, internal confession. The Reed family is where I learned that. The Reed family. Let's take a look. Exactly what I said would happen from it, though. False confession. Check. So wouldn't it be? Wouldn't you want a false confession expert to be one of your witnesses as the defense? You sure would. Did Lindsay Partin have that? She sure didn't. You know what kind of blows my mind? Let's see. March 8th. When we see when I see the discovery for the Chris Watts case and within, 25 of 3,000 pages, right? And then I see like, um, 101 pages typed up, and just seems like you didn't go and get any of this information. And I see Lindsay's case, same thing. Just no investigation. Uh, they had their girl, and their girl was Lindsay Partin. Um, but I think there's more to that. I think there's more to that. And there's a reason that their girl was Lindsay Partin. And because I mean, type in her name, no priors, nothing. Blonde white woman watching a couple kids, two around, two other kids. Lindsay Partin called the police right away. Right away. Called Jason back right away. I mean, to the point that we're talking like 30 to 45 seconds, max 90 seconds. And where's this vehicle that he said he left running? There's no vehicle. There's no truck with the keys in it running. I mean, what do you think Lindsay did? Grabbed Hannah at 7 o'clock in the morning and was just like, you know what? And starts bashing her head into like the fucking concrete. Why? Chris Watts did the same thing. He was lying. Lindsay Partin did the same thing when it got to that point, and she was lying. And then she just starts like saying a bunch of shit. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's you're using a technique. That's what happens. If Lindsay just didn't want to watch the child anymore, just she just would have told them, right? She's taking Hannah to dance. I mean, um, she's feeding Hannah morning and night. Why not investigate though to find out like did they talk to Hannah's like doctor? Her I mean, was Hannah going to the doctor and getting checkups? Is there any report from any of her, you know, who was her primary care doctor? Um, I gotta go back to my question of why is this murder? Why isn't this an accident? Why isn't this? I mean, this is murder. They found Lindsay Partin guilty of murder, like that she purposefully. Thank you, Patty. Wanted to kill Hannah. I mean, what? It's something's missing. something's missing, or or is it something that wants to be covered up? Um, and then Lindsay's husband, but not on paper because they never filled out their proper forms with Ohio. And so when they got married in Las Vegas, they never did what they were supposed to do. But TJ gets charged with, you know, having sex with a child under 10, or, you know, whatever the lingo is. Basically, which would be like abuse. Just a couple months after Lindsay was found guilty, then this came out. Jason was allowed to lie, but they didn't consider it a lie. Hannah's injuries are on purpose, but yet Lindsay and Jason had the same story about the Tuesday and the Wednesday leading up to. Jason's paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month for a vehicle. It's a lot of money. It's almost like, you know, it's like Prim Road prices. That's like a guy who's living in a, you know, shitty ass house. Rent can't be that, you know, that expensive. But yet he has to pay the father-in-law, because he got the car. It's not like, oh hey, just give me $500 a month. It's give me $300 a week. Yes, all of our thoughts and prayers are with you there. Um, You see a suitcase in the dad's house. You see like no sheets are on any of the beds, and they're crumpled on the one. I mean, just, and you see like Lindsay's house has everything put together. Like Lindsay's house has the toys, Lindsay's house has the food, Lindsay's house has everything. But the dad's house doesn't have shit. So, and nobody thinks that it's weird that Lindsay gets popped with this, and then her husband, after she gets that, gets charged with, you know, something else. And, but both have to do with children. What are the odds that there's a husband and wife child abusers sexually? And I mean, did anybody do an exam? Was Hannah sexually assaulted? Did anybody ever do that exam? I'd have to go and check that autopsy. I have to go back and look. I can't remember. I don't think there's any signs of it though. But if there's a husband and wife, allegedly. But the Smiths have a lot of money. That'd be TJ, her husband. Interesting. Well, it's clear as day the way that I feel about what the detectives did to Lindsay is exactly what the detectives did to Chris Watts. And they got him to make a false confession. And that's exactly what Lindsay did when they started doing their techniques. So, again, it doesn't work both ways. If, if Chris said what he said and it wasn't true, then I believe what Lindsay said, same thing, it wasn't true. I think it's pretty obvious, but to other people, they're going to say, she admitted to hitting the child, she admitted to this, and she admitted to that. Yeah, if I just show you a clip that they did on the news where it's, yeah, I went like this, or I went like this, or whatever, like, well, I think they just watched the whole thing. And it wasn't just about the striking, it was about she would only fall, it'd only be like this high off the ground. Well, it matters to how you fall and what you fall into. God, I've like, should I've taken some pretty. It's just so. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick up the child, and now I fell. So now I'm this tall off the ground. She just keeps adding to the story, and it's so obvious. And she's adding to the story because it is a story, because they didn't believe her first accounts, which was he brought Hannah over, and Hannah collapsed. I don't know what happened. She said she wanted a donut on the couch, and then she just collapsed. I hurry up and I call him back over, and then I call the police. Immediate. Like, we're talking immediately. There was, like, no room to, like, panic, hesitate, have some type of story, nothing. So, yes, could she have taken Hannah and banged her up against the wall with her head over and over and over and over and over? But then where's the panic set in? Where's the, okay, now I'm just going to call Jason and act like she just collapsed. Why? And immediately when you get her. The doctors just said this happened within 24 hours. 24 hours. They lied to her and said that it happened, within minutes. Science is science for a reason. They couldn't tell you how Hannah died. But yet I'm going to charge somebody with murder. I don't get it. All right, that's going to wrap this up. Lindsay will take the stand here soon, and I got some inside info for you. So see you guys back, and take care of each other. Be kind and chat love. Mwah. Very simple, because in our justice system now, it is not innocent until proven guilty. That's not how this works. If lawyers are going to continue to defend their clients that way, then you're going to continue to have guilty verdicts. You have to defend. You have to actually show your innocence. It's sad to say, but I feel like the burden is not on the prosecution anymore, and that's just thumbs the facts. And our the idiots that make up America are failing us. So that's all. It just amazes me that anybody could sit on a jury too. Till next time.